Welcome to Out of the Blue, number 475. So, I've been trying to get Mary Smeech and Eric Zorn to write about Jack Clements, but it hasn't worked yet, so I'm going to have to take it on my own. This is a little character named Ziggy. Ziggy is the creation of this man, Tom Wilson. And Jack, my friend upstairs, who is a number of things, was one of the writers for Ziggy. So this is for our friend Jack from Ziggy and Tom Wilson. And this is the little man named Ziggy, who is called Nightfall, and he's moon bathing under a waterfall. Ziggy is. Now, if you know Ziggy, he has many mishaps, Ziggy, and Jack was one of the writers for Ziggy. He worked at a card company called American Greeting, and there was somebody else famous who worked there at that time. R. Crumb. So Jack worked with R. Crumb, and R. Crumb was an artist at American Greeting, and Jack was one of the writers. And Jack, according to Jack, the artists all got stoned at lunch, and the writers all had their 2 martini lunch. So while Jack and R. Crumb worked together, I wouldn't say they were pals, because Jack was also Jack was really hip, and he was into bebop. Jack Jack and I have this in common. We like hard bop. Whereas R. Crumb liked that really old-fashioned jazz, and he was like a kind of a weirdo freak, according to Jack. And Jack's wife, Lillian, who we talk about sometimes, she has some choice words for R. Crumb. But I won't repeat them here. But the point being, oh yeah, we're talking about Jack. So Jack was one of the writers for Ziggy. And that's just the beginning of the story. Okay, I actually had a different idea for this episode, so I'm just going to introduce Jack here, 475, and I'm going to start doing some series on Jack, because Jack, he just can't paraphrase Jack. So Jack's still alive, and he's upstairs. So one of the things about Jack is he was a writer for Ziggy and a friend of Tom Wilson, and a workmate of R. Crumb, and he had a jazz show in Cincinnati. He was a radio personality, Jack was, amongst other things. See what I'm saying? It just goes on and on. So, what had happened was I started this episode and then I got stuck on this. But what I meant to say, what I was planning on saying was that the reaction I get about Neo-Swedenborgianism. Okay. So I'm going to break the show now into 3 parts. ABC. So part A, we're going to talk about Jack. That's ending. Part B, we're going to talk about Neo-Swedenborgianism. And part C, we're going to give a little example. Because the example is basically magic at work. Like I talked about that bluebird and how poof, it disappeared. And I call that organic magic. Well, magic happens in all kinds of phases of life. And a lot of times you end up getting ripped off. This is kind of one of the reasons I'm not a magician, because magic has been usurped by advertising, and it's all about ripping you off. And I'll explain next in the C part of this episode. Oh, but what I was going to say is, this reaction I get to Neo-Swedenborgianism, which is people say, they'll be like, well, I ain't never heard of it. I ain't never heard of it. And they'll use their own ignorance as a defense, right? I ain't never heard of that. And it's like, I understand you never heard of it. That's because it's new. And so I get to witness, by presenting this idea of mine, Neo-Swedenborgianism, I get to witness people's reaction to new ideas. And really, half the time people don't even recognize it as a new idea. But the other half, when they do recognize that as a new idea, it's for some reason there's like this. It's like oil and water. It's like a water, or else they've heard it all before. Oh yeah, I know all about it. Right? They've never heard about it before. Oh yeah, yeah. They'll associate it with something that they already know about or don't like. And so, yeah, I get to witness this. I ain't never heard of that before. And then their friends was, I ain't never heard of it neither. And that's it. The end of the story. So, but Neo-Swedenborgianism is a, you can see it as a branch of, I talk about it as a branch of science because it's neurophysiological. Neurophysiology is a branch of science, so I'm calling Neo-Swedenborgianism a subset within this branch of science. But it's also, it deals a lot with magic. And I'm going to give an example. So here we are on part C. And here's me on the door. This is where I hope to invite everybody to. And here's a nice parking space right here. Why didn't I park right in front? Right? How come I'm parked way down there? See, that's the Previa. That's my door. And that's where the parking starts. I should have just parked there, right? Well, look. There's a no parking sign here. Okay? There's a no parking sign here. And there's a line right there. So there's a, what do you call it? A crosswalk. And there's no parking at the crosswalk. Okay, right? Makes sense. And if I park here, I mean, if I park anywhere right around here, the person who gives the tickets, who I don't know who this is, because, that happens under the dark of night. So anyway, there I am parked down there like a schmuck, and I gotta walk, but it's not that far, but you see what I'm saying. And so, how does this apply to Neo-Swedenborgianism? Right? And this really gets to the meat of it. So, here I am, 7 minutes into episode 475, and I'm finally actually explaining what this is all about. 2 minutes. I want it to be under 10 minutes, so let's see. If I park in that spot, the person who gives out the tickets, who I suspect is on a quota, so they just have to give out so many tickets, right? And if I park near that sign, whoever gives out those tickets is able to photograph it in such a way that it looks like I'm parked illegally. It's happened to me twice so far. It happened with this sign, and it happened with another sign on another street, where I was parked absolutely clearly behind the line. Not even the bumper was over the line. The whole car was in front of the line. But I got this ticket, and what they do is they photograph your car. And so there's photographic evidence of your ticket. So I get this ticket, and I go and I look, and it was like absolutely bogus. So I re-photographed it, and you get to defend yourself. And I got out of that ticket because I was able to photograph it to show how it really looked. Well, then I got a ticket. That was at the other street. Then I park right in front of my own place, and I get this ticket. And you can pull up the little picture, and it's photographed in a deceptive way. It's a goddamn magic trick, right? And so the photograph was such so that it looked like I was parked illegally. It didn't show the tire, it didn't show the bumper, it didn't show the line. All it showed was the sign in the car. And I went out and I photographed it myself, and I sent in my thing, and I got denied. And there's no recourse. You just have to pay your $60. And if you protest, and if it goes far enough, what will ultimately happen, if you say, no, I'm not paying it, your car will get booted, which is this metal contraption they put on your car. This happened to me. They charge you to put it on your car. They give you 24 hours to go pay all your back fines, or else they're going to charge you to tow your car, and then they're going to charge you to hold your car, $200 a day. And you can be financially ruined by this. It can kick you right out of the city, no kidding. So anyway, Neo-Swedenborgianistically speaking, this is a little magic trick that this ticket giver, the person who gives the tickets, is able to meet their quota by taking deceptive pictures. So you're the victim of a magic trick, and it costs you it costs you at least some time to defend yourself, or maybe $60, or if you completely ignore it, it could kick you right out of the city. All based on one little magic trick. Right? It's just one little magic trick. So that was a little